This is just picking up on one of the things I was talking about to do with visual experience, and how, well, actually doesn't really relate to what I was talking about, so I'll just start from fresh. But there are some really odd things about visual experience. First off, from what I understand, although we have this kind of naive realist impression of the environment that we walk around in, that we see everything, it just seems to present itself transparently to our awareness. There's been lots and lots of experimentation to demonstrate that we actually see very little. Whatever our attention is particularly placed on something, and in visual terms, that entity that we're looking at, as it creates this well-defined image at the back of the eye, at the fovea. But apart from that, most everything else is just kind of artificially constructed. It's not to say it's not there, it's just not represented in the clarity that which it appears to be. So we don't actually see most of the stuff that we're surrounded by. We don't have that. We're not actually conscious of it. That's the first part. And the second thing is that quite a lot of the things that are there, apparently, are seeping into our cognition and potentially affecting us, but completely bypassing consciousness. So there's lots of kind of subliminal processes, if I can call them those, which are absolutely making their way into our awareness. And then I guess an example of that was I'm walking along this path here, but I'm not watching where I'm putting my feet. I'm not thinking about where my feet are going. I'm not thinking about the branches. And as far as I know, I'm not aware of those things at all. I'm not aware of the unevenness of the ground that I'm walking on, or about the branches that I occasionally walk near. But I'm not falling over, and I'm not bumping my head on the branches. So on some level, these things must be entering my cognitive processes, but not in any kind of way that disturbs the smooth surface of my consciousness, so to speak. So those things are happening. What that got me thinking about was this kind of shared visual environment that we live in, because obviously the visual and the visualized environment is one of the, or it seems to me, is one of the kind of prototypical interpersonal objective situations, which confirms what we think of as objectivity. Actually, sometimes I think, if we can see something in front of us, and we can stand next to something, and we collectively can see that thing, it's really hard to deny its existence. It's almost like as I say, a prototypical example of a truth condition. If you can stand next to somebody and both testify to the existence of a tree in your visual field, and it's there. But given what I've just been saying about what's available and what's not, that's a bit illusory, I think. I mean, what it seems to me is that I could be standing next to somebody on a hillside, or on Oxford Street, or on a beach, or something like that, and we could both be having this completely transparent experience, and we could both be sharing the world, and and we could occasionally be pointing out things to each other and drawing our attention to this surfer, or this object in a shop window, or whatever, these sheep, this unusual cloud formation. We could draw attention to that, and we could be completely copacetic in our sense of being, as I say, in this shared environment. But we probably wouldn't be. Not at least in those senses I've talked about. Most of the things that most of the shared experience would be, not exactly invented, but it wouldn't be as clear and as transparent as we feel it to be. It would be made up and constructed from very small amounts of evidence, and lots of things would be happening in the environment, presumably, which will be entering our cognitive processes, but again would be bypassing our collective cognitive awareness, our shared cognitive awareness, or our the two sets of cognitive awarenesses that are going on. So we'd live in this, so whilst we'd seem to be in this fully conscious world, we'd actually be in a kind of collective unconscious, collective visual unconscious, in which all kinds of things were happening that we were not aware of, and we'd be imagining all kinds of things happening that actually weren't happening at all, possibly. Entities would be appearing in this shared hallucination, which weren't actually there at all, and some of the things that were there, and which were impinging on our on our existence, we'd just be bypassing completely. We'd walk down the path together and neither of us would fall over. I'm guessing. We both feel the urge to go into a shop and buy something at the same time.